Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. 6 minutes past the hour. It is your early morning. Get up, wake up on this second day of September. Tell the truth Tuesday. Yours truly, Joe Dupree, in the building from 100 BLK, the Black Station. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, X, and on YouTube. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X, all at the JDMS, and we're also broadcasting on YouTube at 100 BLK Media. It is hashtag Truth Be Told / JD Live, and we're in the building. Get up, wake up. No, a lot of you had a long Labor Day weekend, and it's back to the grind. Summer, as they say, is officially over. Hopefully some cool weather will start coming in real soon. But it has been feeling pretty good at some of the places that I've been. Speaking about being places, I'm never in here alone. Never alone. My residential, you guys to read about it. You guys to talk about it. Hold on. Do something. I had to clean something up right quick. I noticed I spilled a little something. Reading is fundamental. And I can't be reading unless I got my residential LeVar Burton in the building with me. Let me ring the bell. A round of applause. Sean P. with the Sean P. Experience. It's in the building. Talk to me, Sean P. Talk to me now. Talk to me.
What's going on? How you doing? How you doing out there? I hope y'all had a beautiful and safe Labor Day weekend. We are back in the saddle, and I'm always reading. I have right here, Joe. This is Malcolm Lives.
Okay.
Malcolm Lives. This is the young adult version of the biography of Malcolm X, written by one of my favorite current day scholars, Dr. Ibram X. Kendi, who I met in person in New York early in the year at the Zora Neale Hurston Summit. This is a brand new book on Malcolm X. I absolutely love this publication, Joe. Highly advise it for anybody, adult or young adult, tap into it because he lives, because his name is on our tongue. Feel me?
Right. That part. Not only do I have my brother Sean P. and the Sean P. Experience in the building, but all the way in MI, Yayo, Dade County. You know him. Dapper Dan himself, brother Bowtie, is in the building. Good morning, brother Bowtie. How you doing?
Good morning, man. Lovely
Look
weekend.
at that
Lovely
brother. Look at
weekend,
that brother.
gentlemen.
Woo wee.
Man, I'm just trying to be like y'all and inspire you. That about it. That about it. Hey, I didn't get the last part. I was trying to listen in. But what's the name of that book, Brother Sean?
Yes, sir. This is Malcolm Lives, the brand new biography on Malcolm X. Is made for young adults, right? Young adult novels. I love those. But even if you're an adult, I highly advise still getting young adult novels because they're taking distilled down very hard content for anybody to consume it. So I love young adult novels personally.
Gotcha.
All right. So, family, we're back at it. Yesterday, we had to take the day off. I, too, would like a day of not having to wake up in the morning, early in the morning, and get on this microphone. I actually had a very pleasant day yesterday. Had a lot of studying to do, had some revisions to do on some writings. There's a few subjects we're going to try to squeeze into this 1 hour, including sports, cause football is back. Collegiate football is definitely back. So I was asked a question, and we're going to try to hammer on that toward the end. Can a individual that was a prostitute, now the person asked me, so I had to put it out there the way they told me to ask me, is a woman who has been a prostitute, can she make a good wife? Somebody sent me an inbox and said, you need to put out there, can a person who was a prostitute make a good spouse? Because there are men and women prostitutes who have been made good spouses. So I wasn't trying to be gender specific. I just put the question out there as it was asked. That's one. Number two, we really need to talk about this crime situation because the propaganda machine would have you believe crime is at an all-time high. The propaganda machine would make you feel like you're not safe. But as you know, just right now, because of this doorbell prank that they pull so much with the kids, one of them turned tragic in Houston, Texas. So my question is, are we going to deploy the National Guard to Houston now?
Hmm.
Number three, I want to talk about You have the right to feel the way you feel, and you have the right to say what you want to say. I deal with the following: facts, feelings, hearsay. And when I'm dealing with facts, feelings, and hearsay, I always try my best to stick to the facts, stay out my feelings, and not tender my ear or my social media looking to hearsay. Because believe it or not, a lot of so-called looking credible outlets that are putting information out there are not telling you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So when you inbox me and say, you need to check this out because it debunks what you say, it may, from a certain point of view. But I will be very honest with you. Sometimes you got to check the source of these folks who call themselves credible outlets, because they themselves are only telling you what they want you to hear to make them look good. I don't care about looking good. Thankfully, I've always been in radio, and this is the first time I've ever been on the screen anywhere. And I have a radio voice and I have a radio face. So I ain't trying to look good. That's why I don't come on here looking Dapper Dan like Mr. Bowtie, though I can. The reason being is I'm not in here trying to look pretty. I'm not trying to look like Channel 5, Channel 10, Channel 15, Fox, MSNBC, or CNN. But I am trying to tell you this. I'm not here to tell you what to think, how to think, but I am telling you need to begin to think. And a lot of times we're not doing that. So let's start off with everybody's welcome in here. You are welcome to call in. Phone number always is at the bottom of the screen. You are welcome to log in. You are welcome to come in and say what you want to say, however you want to say it. Many other outlets will not let you do that, because if you jump into a conservative outlet and you start talking Black power, they will quickly tell you, sir, you're at the wrong place and we don't need you on this platform. You need to go over yonder with them other folks. And they will give you outlets you can go to. They will quickly cut you off their radio show or their podcast and tell you, we don't need you talking here. Everybody's welcome here because we ain't scared of nobody. At the end of the day, I want to say this: be it black, white, green, blue, purple with antennas on your head, conservative, Republican, independent, Martian, alien, or whoever, you're welcome to come in, call in, or dial in. You can put your face on here. I put the link up constantly because we want to hear what you got to say, because you may bring some truth to us that we were not aware of. I'm a knowledge seeker, and by me seeking knowledge, I find out sometimes some things that I thought was true is not true after further review. I wish a lot of you was as open-minded and open-hearted as I am. But I'm not asking you to be like me. I'm just telling you, I'm not telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, but you need to start doing something and use that thing between them two ears behind your eyes. I'm off the mic. Whoever wants it next can get it. Let's go.
Where we going at, Joe? What's the angle?
Well,
I think where you want to start at?
let's start with okay. I want to end up with this prostitution thing because it blew my mind, the deep conversation I had. But right. I want to do that toward the end. I want enough people to be in here when we do that. So we're going to do that probably after sports. Let's start with this crime thing. That all of a sudden, all these cities that happen to be predominantly Black and brown, predominantly not ran by a Republican. So you telling me that cities that have Republican mayors don't have high crime? Is that what you're telling me?
Joe, I got one even better for you. I was just talking about this the other day because I was doing a little bit of research on all the cities that he wanted to put in National Guard in. So I came to find out that actually the top 4 led states in crime are actually Republican states.
But are we sending the National Guard there? Now we sacking state and city. I'm just
and Louisiana is one of them, but now he's sending National Guards to Louisiana.
Okay, right.
They'll get what they want.
Okay. So wait a minute. So Louisiana got high crime stats. You know what? I live in the state of Louisiana and I work in law enforcement. And I will say, if you average up the crime stats, and once again, you can make stuff look a certain way. That's not you can make it look a certain way. But what you'll come to find out is, let me what you'll come to find out is that you can make stats look a certain way. I can make the stats look in my favor if I average the stats out long enough. Especially in a place like Louisiana, because there was a time that we had multiple cities that were top 10 in homicides. We had Baton Rouge, we had New Orleans, we had Shreveport that were top 10 in the United States of America in homicide. So if you talk about statewise, you're right. But see, we're not talking statewise. What he's doing is because he knows if I come and put them state numbers up, it ain't going to look good for the home team. So let me target these Democratic cities, which in all actuality, let me say the following, because somebody went into my inbox and said this. I said that, and I'll say it again. You deploying military into our cities, you're doing the same thing that Hitler did in Austria and Switzerland before he invaded Germany. I'll say that again. If you don't believe me, Sean P. is my reader in here. I wasn't saying that to call Trump a Nazi. I was saying he's doing the same thing that Hitler did. And if you read it, that's what Hitler did. Hitler went into Vienna, Austria, and he did not, the Nazi regime was the police. And he said, let me take these military guys and make them start policing these cities, like in Vienna, Austria. And he test dummied them to start all of a sudden, oh, things are so out of control. The Jews are out of control, blah, blah, blah. Man, look, pay attention to what's going on, in my opinion. And here's why you need to pay attention. When these 4 years are up, there is one way Donald Trump can stay in office. We are engaged in a world war that will postpone the election by the Constitution, and it will keep the person who is the president in the presidency. Pay attention. Go ahead, Brother Bowtie, and brother Sean, come on in.
This is my grand question, right? Me being a little bit younger than y'all, a little bit, being a child of the 80s and the 90s, they always acted as if crime was so bad at every iteration of my life. Being a child of the 90s, when you had gangster rap, they want to blame the music, blame Boys in the Hood, all that stuff came out around that time. They swore to God it was the worst time ever for crime and homicides and everything. Then you go to the early 2000s, the same thing. So like every iteration, they swear it's the worst time ever for crime. So what makes right now unique is my question. What makes right now different in the past 40 years of my life?
So I think what happened, I watch the news every day. My grandfather taught me to get up and watch the news. And he said, even though it's true, it will always give you fear and chaos. So I think our president has took advantage, and he knows this. And most presidents before, so they often push the narrative of this is bad, that we got an issue here, like drugs, crack cocaine. It wasn't no issue, but they made it seem like it was an issue. But however, though, it really became a big issue when white America got a hold to drugs, really. But long as we was on it, they didn't care. No matter what crime we try to commit, or no matter what kind of crime we try to make ourselves look like we this big macho thing, we were never compared to the savages of the European crimers, should I say. Look at the active school shooters, right? Active school shooting been existing before I was even born, and they've been trying to stop this probably for like over 60 or 70 years, right? But I guarantee you, everybody been screaming. When I was in middle school, that's when Columbine happened, right? Since middle school, I've been hearing people talk about, oh, we need to get a hold on these guns. We need to stop this mass shooting. They're not going to stop it. But I'm going to tell you when they're going to stop it, though. Let black kids start shooting up the school. Let 4 black kids shoot up the school next year. I guarantee you, there won't be no more school shootings. So the thing is to push the narrative to for us always look bad on what we're doing and install the fear in majority of white America. Because white America think that they're the majority. When come to find out that they're actually not, and they're losing every year. They're going down.
So once again, we're going to get into that. Go ahead and say what you were going to say, Sean P. I'm going to come back to that majority thing. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just tying this something that Joe and I spoke on last week when we was on the show by ourselves a little bit about that shooting that just happened recently. They're sending the troops down there.
Mm,
Whenever something like that happens, and whenever these other shootings happen at these other people's schools, they're not
mm-hmm,
sending the troops down there. Or the doggone the Las Vegas shooting that they had, they're not
mm-hmm,
sending the troops down there. But whenever things happen in our little small fraction of a
mm-hmm.
community, oh my God, it's the worst thing. It's dire. Like, come on, man.
So I'm glad Sean put that in. We're going to talk about majority, minority. But let's talk about this. If I recall correctly, on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, early in the morning in New Orleans this year, 2025, I was there. There was a major terrorist attack that occurred in New Orleans.
Mm.
Ask yourself this question. Since I live in the state of Louisiana, did our governor, who has sent troops to Washington, D.C. to support the president's effort, did our governor send troops to New Orleans to secure New Orleans?
Mm.
I'll wait. I'll wait. Family, you got to pay attention. And you, once again, I'm going to say it because right now, the media and the propaganda machine would have you think that if it's white, it's all right.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
brown, it can stick
Yeah.
around, but if it's black, it stay back. And I'm saying that to my black folks because some of you black folks are feeling like if you black, you need to stay back or you need to do the shoe shine
Yeah.
Sammy move to stick with Mr. Master. And I ain't doing that. So let's get into a few things here. And I wish some of these shoe
And
signs.
they're only pushing us as the bad. But when you
Hold it.
do your research, you will find out that Europeans actually commit way more crimes than blacks and Hispanics.
So I want to really get into this for a second before we get into sports, because we got a lot to talk about in sports. But I really want to get into, I need to understand our biggest problem is us.
Mm.
Our biggest problem is we. The biggest problem, see, as black and brown folks, and y'all can play around with me all you want to. I know y'all don't want this word to get out, but it's gonna get out. We got to stop. See, right now I need to talk to Mr. Black Man and Miss Black Woman who is doing their own black and brown folks in. See, y'all the folks I need to talk to because I'm not worried about the non-melanated folks. Let me talk about my melanated folks. Y'all stop taking on the European ways of scheming, scamming, doing each other wrong, and let us come back and do what we did from the old. See, because this ain't nothing new under the sun, family. Once again, if you recall, in this book called the Bible, it speaks of Pharaoh's fellow constituents. Oh yeah, y'all trying to cut me off. I get it. But he was sitting with his fellow constituents and said, man, these Jews are getting to be a lot in number. What we need to do something to step, because they about to outnumber us. They about to outnumber us. Yeah, keep playing with me. Keep playing with me. But at the end of the day, family, you know I'm telling the truth. Read it in your own Bible. Ain't nothing new under the sun. All of a sudden, this attack against black and brown. They were about to, on Labor Day weekend, send a whole bunch of kids, a bunch of orphan kids on a plane and ship them away. Not give them the opportunity of due process. Orphan kids, that hit me somewhere because I, once upon a time, was an orphan, lived in an orphanage, did not have a mother, and my biological mother and father were not to be found. I am a child of the system. Play with me if you want to. The microphone is y'all's, fellas.
Yeah. I think we have to actually pay attention to ourselves. Actually, brother Sean P just posted a book, but Malcolm said a quote that most of us remember. There's nowhere that blue-eyed white devil went anywhere and created peace. He always will create chaos, whether it's here, whether it's in South Africa with the apartheid, whether it's in Asia. No matter where he went at, he created chaos. And the first thing that he do is get people to believe that they're superior and something wrong with them as a people. And still to this day, you got people who've been living over 35 years still think there's something wrong with their skin, something still wrong with their hair, something still wrong with their facial color. And then they look at one another as a target. But Joe, I'm gonna say this, and I hope it don't sound too controversial. The National Guard's been in DC. I do have an issue with it. But the other thing that's kind of more positive is I want to know where those hood dudes at who don't mind killing one another, but why the hell they hesitate to go to war with the police or with the National Guard? I
Mm,
seen the video earlier this weekend. Little dude, he drove through a block and there was a whole bunch of young brothers pulling out their guns, and he was like, you know, if you go in the army and do that, they'll give you housing, they'll pay for you to go to college, you know.
mm,
But
Brother Bullseye,
why when we look at us
mm,
one another, I'm talking about the young dudes, those mothers and fathers who listen, who got young niggas, as they say. Why is their mindset to look at us as an easy target, but some way somehow they hesitate when it comes to not even only the white police officers
hey,
or
we gonna go to Sean P. And
good,
Sean put the book up there. Put it up there again for him because one of Malcolm's best quotes is, "Who taught you
to hate yourself.
to hate yourself?" Brother Sean P. Go ahead, brother.
I wanted to co-sign Brother Bullseye. He down there in Florida, right? So I hear about George Zimmerman. We know Trayvon Martin situation. George Zimmerman walk around broad daylight, clear as day, braggadocious. He showed a gun he used, go to little gun and knife shows, got a whole setup, signing autographs. That man walk around clear as day without bodyguards or nothing. Y'all don't do him nothing. But you would
Mm,
take your brother out for saying something or doing something you feel is egregious, but that man walk around broad daylight like it ain't nothing.
No,
mm.
That
no
always pissed me
security,
off.
No,
no
yeah,
security detail, no Secret Service. Now you pull the Secret Service from the vice president, but George Zimmerman walk around with no Secret Service. Now, what was the name of the young man that went up to Wisconsin, and the young white boy that decided to go?
Kylie,
Rittenhouse.
yeah.
Okay, so Rittenhouse, he on a book tour, he on a signing tour. In other words, kill a black man, become a millionaire. There's two ways you can become a instant millionaire. Kill a black man, because watch this. They don't want to tell you this, but if the dude that killed George Floyd would write a book right now, it would become a bestseller, a Times bestseller. He would become a
Well,
millionaire.
Joe, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Hold it,
It's gonna
hold
happen.
it. Kill a black man and become a millionaire. Or you can go ahead and start one of these funky religions up, or start some type of church, because it's tax-free. And we're gonna get into that this week also. Because now somebody done really poked the bear how the bear don't need to be poked. And I'm going to talk about these churches and how they are so much now the new bank with no regulation. But when you go to the church for funding or help, church tell you they can't help you. Come on, man, y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up. And yeah, if you one of them, I'm on your ice now. I'm on your ICE. I'm on your ice. Okay, so you won't be in here. Joe in there talking about he own us. We need to go ahead and put the truth out about Joe, baby. Let me tell you something. You can't
Let's
tell
send the
nothing on
National
me.
Guards to Joe house.
Hey, you ain't told nothing on me. Nah, they ain't gonna send it over here to the ex-colonel's house, because they know I know your tack. I'm like Red October. I'm like, oh boy, when he was taking the Red October to the Americans. I'm not
Mhm,
worried about. I'm not worried about my fleet. I know
mhm,
they tactics.
mhm,
I'm worried about the Buckaroos. That's who I'm
mhm.
worried about. The Buckaroos. You know, if we get the wrong Buckaroo, that's when I got a problem. If I get the wrong person who all of a sudden sees me as a threat, who's sitting out there in one of them woodsheds talking about, boy, you know that old bald-headed, gray-haired man, we ought to do something about him. See, that's who I'm worried about. I ain't worried about all these other systems, because I've been a part of these other systems. I know they tactics. But at the end of the day, we got to wake up, family. We got to wake up. Come on, this is getting out of control. And what to me is getting out of control more than anything else is how black and brown folks are going at black and brown folks over non-melanated issues. I seen black and brown folks be ready to fight over you talking about non-melanated folks more than they ready to fight over issues that are plaguing our communities. Come on now, y'all got to stop this. Y'all got to stop this, because in my humble opinion, this is my opinion and mine alone, some of y'all feel like the only way y'all gonna ever accumulate wealth is y'all got to act like you hood in the hood, but when you get over to the other side of town, you the one telling on the hood. And I said what I said. A lot of y'all some hood tattletales when y'all get on the other side of town. Y'all ain't talking black power. Y'all ain't talking when you sitting with Monsieur Candy, what's really going on. Y'all acting like you're straight up steaming. Now, Monsieur Candy,
Yeah.
they didn't come here. They didn't come here for no one-eyed Joe. They came here for that gas. Y'all
Mhm.
tattletaling. And I'm going to talk about you, because that's what you're doing. You're tattletaling. Y'all are more cozy with non-melanated. Y'all know more and brag about it. I'm good with the people on the white side of town.
Yeah. Well, Yep.
Are you good with the people in your side of town?
Yep. 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 And that's the main people we should be blackballing in our community.
They done took our community over.
Yeah.
We won't support a black-owned business in our community. And if we do support a black-owned business in our community, I promise you there's some connection to some type of criminal enterprise. They either
Yep.
scamming and tax, they doing some type of tax scam, they doing some type of drug laundering scam, some type of money laundering scam. Man, y'all need to stop. Y'all talking to the wrong brother on the wrong day today. It's 32 minutes past the hour. Chicago, Chirac, I know y'all getting ready. Because Trump said he unleashing all federal hell up in Chirac. He sending the people to get the illegals. And guess what? Let me ask you this. I wonder how many illegal non-melanated folks are in this country. How many non-melanated folks visa done expired? They student visa done expired. They came over here on a visa and all of a sudden y'all don't know where they at. How many non-melanated folks from Russia, Europe, from other countries that
South
are
Africa.
non-melanated? Yeah, from South Africa. I wonder how many white folk walking around here that not American that are illegal, and why ain't y'all scooping them up, putting them in ICE vehicles and flying them off to Guatemala? I'll wait. Well, looks like Elijah is recovering from all these great victories that Tennessee put in. So we won't have sports today. So let's go ahead at 33 minutes past the hour and get into what I have been promoting. We're going to have a show next week where we're going to talk about the N-word, and we're going to show you what happens when certain folks deal with us at the level of the N-word and how some of us react to them. So we're going to have Brother Washington, brother from Berlin. We're going to start promoting this now. Next week, we're going to show you the clip. We want y'all to talk about it because we've got to start tackling these issues that most folks don't tackle. Now, let me give a disclaimer. There is a guy here that lives in Lafayette, Louisiana, a very well-known man, a politician. His name is Kenneth Boudreaux. Now, I put on my Facebook post, and I want to give y'all, I did have Kenneth in the back of my head when I heard this, because I give people their props when I know I took a little bit of their idea. Kenneth says, we talk out loud about things that people whisper about in the dark. So when I said we're gonna start talking about the questions that y'all talk about in private but won't talk about in public, we're gonna talk about that. That was inspired by Kenneth, because Kenneth, that's his saying. That's not my saying. So let me give the man props, and I don't mind giving folks props because there's some things I do not have nothing to do with, and I had that in my mind when I put that post out there. So the question was asked to me by a friend. Can a woman who was a prostitute, and now we've changed it, can an individual who is a prostitute, could they be a good spouse? And I had to digest that for a second because that person went deep on me. He said, because if the person was a prostitute or an erotic dancer, could they be a good spouse? Because he said there are folks who are in good marriages and their present spouse is a prostitute or an erotic dancer. And their household is more calm and relaxed than you brothers who are dating these school teachers, these Laurel scholars. He said these individuals who say that they all that in a bag of chips. Let's get into the conversation. Let go.
So, Joe, I'm going to say yeah, and I'm going to say no.
Okay,
But
come on.
Brother Bowtie ain't marrying no ex-prostitute. But if there was a little bit of hope, she's going to be ex everything. If I meet let's just say I meet a prostitute in Miami and she just so happened to sweep me off my feet. She ain't gonna be no prostitute no more. She ain't gonna be in Miami no more. She ain't gonna be no Christian no more. She ain't wearing the same clothes she wear no more. I meant like everything had she even gonna become a vegan. She gonna have to go all the way out to prove to me, hey, I had made some real changes in my life. And we gotta go somewhere where I won't put myself in danger because us as men, we always gotta defend our women. So
Right.
I don't need to be grocery shop with her. They be like, hey, come here, Tootie. Don't act like that, love. I just had you 2 months. Oh, Oh shit, I'm about to go to jail. So we need to relocate to a whole nother state where nobody know Tootie.
So
Just my opinion.
so this came to my attention while I was this weekend. I was in Itta Bena, Mississippi. Now Itta Bena is itty bitty. Itta Bena is itty bitty. Itta Bena is a very small town, lovely place, home of Mississippi Valley State. The Southern University Jaguars went there and played. We stayed in Jackson, Mississippi. The reason this conversation came up is the individual told me he has a friend who is a working man / erotic dancer married to another individual. And he said, the reason I'm bringing this up about the woman, he said, I see how happy married this guy is to this woman who goes with him to all his engagements. When he has to dance, and he said, this boy making money hand over fence dancing.
Oh,
But
so they both work in the sex industry.
He said, no. He said now this is the crazy thing. The man who is the dancer, and that's all he do. All he do is dance, and every once in a while, he gets a little extracurricular activity with the wife's approval. And he bring the money back home. The wife
is the pimp
is a supervisor at a certain chain store. I ain't gonna name the store, but some folk in Arkansas probably right now saying, what? We got managers that dating guys like that? So I'm just saying, the wife work at a certain chain store that folk in Arkansas know about because the headquarters in Arkansas, but I ain't gonna call them out like that. But here's the thing. The wife got a regular 9 to 5. The brother, he in the gym, hitting it, so the guy was telling me, and I was like, how that work? He said, it worked. He said, cause he brought up to me about something else, because he said, he pointed out, because I was at a place, he said, you see them 2 women over there? I said, yeah. He said, they up for the highest bidder. I said, oh my God. He said, yeah, but both of them married too. I said, well, how they husbands? He said, I don't think that, he said, because they bring the bacon home. He said, now one of their husbands probably a pimp. He said, I kind of know him. He kind of pimpish. But he said, at the end of the day, they both are married. So he said, can a woman who is a prostitute make a good wife? So that is a deep question. And so when I put that out there and I put the post out there, I had some folks inbox me and say, no, you need to ask about the spouse too, because there is males who do it. And the conversation did start off with a male. And I'm like, okay, the question is, can a person...
So when we talk about a wife or a spouse in general, man or woman, even though we say your past shouldn't affect you, it does. But what really affects whether or not we're going to be in a relationship really is the character of the individual or the qualities that they have. We can, and in some cases, most men had ignored the quantities that their spouse had before them, whether it's male or female, because there's up the quality. I think in modern times, Joe, and I assume the people that you talk about, they're probably over 35 or 40. Right. Yeah. But my generation, man, these women, they can barely wash rice these days. They don't wash meat.
So that's the point. Is it a double standard? So that's why
No, it's not a double standard. I'm saying what I'm trying to say is I think that some men will ignore your past if you have great quality.
Right.
I'm trying to say is
and I agree with that. Bowtie, hold on. Here's what I'm saying too. And we need to look at it from as many angles as we can in this short amount of time we have. A lot of guys will look at a woman's looks, her personality. A lot of folks will get in sexual relationship with women and say, oh my God, she the one, and have not tasted one meal she cooked, and come to find out that she can't cook, and all you eating from the rest of your life, because you done got a little good
microwave.
You eating Hot Pockets, Hamburger Helper for the rest of your life. But guess what? Now here's the thing. There are guys who say, man, I don't give a damn if she can't cook. I don't give a damn. Long as she got my toes curling when it go down, I don't care. And that's the question. Sean P, talk to me. Get into this thing, man. We gotta have some conversation.
Based on what you laid out, Joe, the whole conversation, right? What I gather is It's really based on the couple's communication and understanding with each other. So, of course, this whole conversation is very extreme, right? But look, let's do it more simple than that. Look at Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, right? This is why I don't get involved with celebrity dating gossip or whatever. They have very unique situations. All these celebrities. Nick Cannon got what, 8, 9 kids? Different baby
12.
mamas.
Wait,
Cam Newton got different baby mamas. Like they have different situations that's not standard monogamous things that we used to in our upbringing. So something like what you're talking about, it takes that couple having an understanding, and clearly they do, and so therefore they could have a successful relationship. They could have a successful, happy, blissful household based on understanding, not based on our standards, but their standards that
Mhm.
they set.
and understand this. And that's why I always tell people, I mind the business that pays me. Okay. I mind the business that pays me. I be about my papers like them Jews. I mind the business that pays me.
So
Because
I have a question, Joe.
talk to me.
If a young man has a sugar mama, is he considered a prostitute?
No, I don't think that. See, I had to ask myself this question. Now, as a father of sons and daughters, first I had to ask myself, if one of my daughters told me they were deciding to go into the erotic industry in any shape, form, or fashion, or better yet, I found out that one of my daughters was a part of the industry unbeknownst to me, how would I factor that? How would I act? Then I had to ask myself the same question if that would happen to one of my sons. Because you have to understand, all these people that sometimes like Cardi B. Cardi B started on the pole.
She was a prostitute too.
Okay, and was a prostitute. However, let's look at this. Let's take that off the table and let's look at it from the bare bones. Cardi B got a mom and a dad. Somewhere, somebody looking at Cardi B's mom and dad going,
What
especially,
went wrong?
no. Just imagine if you were a brother. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there.
Mary
Back
McLeod
in my
Bethune, she was a
hold on.
prostitute.
Hold on. Back in my day, back when I was growing up, before all this,
I mean, Maya Angelou, I'm
all,
sorry.
all these streaming and all this stuff started off, they used to have VHS tapes called Booty Talk. Certain
I
volumes.
remember those.
Okay. So here's my question. If
I
that
ain't
was
never
your
watched
daughter,
them, but I remember.
hold on. If one of those, if Pinky, that's a name a lot of folks know. If Pinky was your daughter and you sit down with your boys and one of your boys go, hey man, what up with your daughter, man? Because your daughter out there. You know, people know Pinky. I don't forgot some of the names. Some of the names of some of the actresses, but some of the performers, some of the sexual acts performers, they got moms and dads too. Talk to me, Sean.
Let me insert a question for the conversation. Let us define prostitution, right? Because see, once again, it's a very sensationalized conversation, but a lot of people out there are prostituting or partaking without it being called prostitution.
Well, hold it.
Yeah,
There is
When it comes to
OnlyFans.
exchanging, I'm sorry.
There is I'm giving you the black card, Sean. You right down the right rabbit hole. There is illegal prostitution, and then there's legal prostitution. Okay. And what is the difference between
Exchange
illegal?
of goods and services. You're
Okay.
bartering.
So watch this. There are some women who, to me, this is the legal, some women and men, this is the legal prostitution. They ain't messing with you unless you paying bills, flying them out, putting them up in hotels. This is men and women. That look, if you ain't helping me pay my bills, you can't get no good. If you ain't flying me out, you can't get no good. If you ain't taking me on expensive dinners, if you ain't buying me expensive things, you can't get no good. Now that's what I call the legal prostitution.
And
There are women out there and men out there who make it crystal clear. If you want to have sex with me, you have to pay me. They put ads out on websites, they put ads out on social media, and basically say, in order for you to get this wood or to get this wet, you're gonna have to give up the fetty.
now, Joe, I wanted to mention it for the sports section last week, but let's do it right now. It's a
Let's go.
tennis player. I don't know her name. It's a tennis player, female. She said a guy got to pay $1,000 deposit to get a date with her. Now, she didn't imply any sexual favors go along with that, but she said she ain't wasting her time. A guy got to pay a G just to get a date with her. What does that sound like to y'all, fellas?
Prostitution.
Right. By definition. However, Sean, because she did not put in any legally, and this is the crazy, like OnlyFans.
She didn't put it in her description.
Hold on. OnlyFans and fan base is legal prostitution. Is legal because in other words, they have figured out a way to say, look, it's just like when you go to Georgia now. Georgia passed a law saying that nudity is a part of the arts and culture because some of these folks were going to these plays and they had nudity in it. Well, of course, once you pass a law, and we who know how to hustle, and there's a lot of folk who know how to hustle, they're doing a documentary about Magic City right now. At Magic City, they bucket naked. And when they come in and say, whoa, wait a minute, y'all are totally nude. Yes, we're totally, because that's our art and expression.
And Joe, why would the politicians pass a law like that?
They done been to Magic City a couple times.
Well, hold it.
Are they partaking?
No. Hold on, Sean and Bowtie. Let's go deeper. When politicians make moves like that, there are folks that so into those politicians that say, hey, see, politicians, let me tell you what politics is really about. Politics is really about who is contributing to me being in this office financially. Who cut?
They're prostitutes as well.
Okay, watch this. Who cutting checks? So at the end of the day, understand this. When you try to figure out why you're not getting your issue resolved with any type of politician, the question is, have you contributed financially to this person's campaign? Because we big at not doing that. See, we big at saying, and our vote does matter. But watch this, because somebody done convince you that your vote don't matter, other folks are cutting checks because they understand it costs to run advertisement on CNN, MSNBC, and your local radio or TV station when I'm running for office. Because if you don't know about me, chances are better than good you won't go and vote for me. So understand, folks know how to talk folks into cutting checks. Prostitution, when it comes down to it, is on multi-levels. There's political prostitutes, there's legal prostitutes, but sadly, within all of that, there is a legal prostitution that sometimes even trickles down to sex trafficking and children at the young tender ages of 13, 14, 15 being trafficked or being put in a situation because they're young girls and boys who look grown, that you got old men and old women. Because let me say this, if you're 25 and you're sleeping with a 13-year-old, you're an old man or old woman. Period. Right. But you got a lot of these, like one of the biggest prostitution rings that is going on right now in America is how these women are dealing with these young boys who are high school athletes and these young freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors in high school who end up pumping that iron and hitting it every day. They out there hitting a lot of old mamas and old uncles, aunties and uncles getting it in.
Joe,
that's been going on for a long time, Joe. I think the issue is that, and we're not fair. As much as we say that we're just, we're not really just. But the young men really don't have nobody to report to. I'm not gonna say no names, but let's just say that I did it in middle school and high school with a teacher. But who I was gonna go home to report to? I tell my mom, my mom always told me, when they put it in your face, you better know what to do with it. And if I would have came home and say, Mom, this is what happened with Miss such and such, my mom probably would have thought I was gay or something like that. So oftentimes it happened way more than the women, because the young men is the attraction for the single teacher that's working. In her mind, she's like, well, I don't want none of you dudes that work here, but I can manipulate this young boy in the 10th or 11th grade.
Because guess what? As somebody would say, and I ain't trying to use this in a negative way, so please, sister, don't take it that way. I don't deal with grown folks. I deal with kids because I can bend the kids. I can't bend grown folks. John P, talk to me. That you were about to say something. Go with it, brother.
Like Brother Bowtie was saying, this always been going on. We all know that. Having wheels in school. But think about this. The introduction of the NIL money of this generation. Imagine what them young boys with that bread doing now with these teachers, man. The boy put up with their cars, with their rims, and their music. The boy got money, and they getting paid way more than the teachers. Unfortunately.
Hey,
Unfortunately.
hey,
So imagine what's going on now, bro.
man, all them brothers graduating from college. What it is, cum laude, man. Yeah, they good.
I mean, you just got to look at it from the point of view that we've got to have this conversation, and we got to have this conversation from a point of what do we do to bring healing. First of all, let's just be honest about it. Many of us who's watching this, who will replay this, have had some hoish ways in our days. Some of us may still have some hoish ways right now. But at the end of the day, does that make you a bad person? Or is it just you're just hypersexual? That is a thing. Being hypersexual is a thing.
I wanted to say this too on the top of this topic, man. If a person is in the sex work industry, like Joe just said, they're still a person, bro. It's still a person. It's still a human being. It's still all those things, bro. So you can't just cast them out because of their line of industry. You know what I'm saying?
Brother Sean, I agree with you, and I actually hate that. I hate that we're not. How can I say? Mentally stable to accept that some things and some people are different. You know, like or situations. You know, like I think Joe know what most people know, but you know, and my our girl missing, but I love, you know, Alethea. But even though I don't support the community, like I never mistreat a person. Nobody would never walk around and say, "Oh, brother Bowtie mistreated me because I'm part of the LGBTQ community." In fact, I made a post yesterday, and my oldest two nieces are part of the community. And I go to hell and hot water. I go to war for anyone that, you know, say something against them, try to offend them. But just because you don't support them or you don't stand for it doesn't mean you have to mistreat them. And oftentimes we look down on people because they don't do it. Like I can look at a local drug dealer and still treat him as a human being and have a conversation with him. I don't have to look down on him because he chose to sell drugs. Maybe that's his only survival. I can look at a prostitute, as they talk about prostitute, and still look at her as a woman. I can still give her honor and respect. Now, based off their reaction, when I say how you doing, young man, or how you doing, young lady, they will let me know how to treat them from that point forward. But my initial contact, I'm going to treat them like a human being.
You know, it's 7 minutes to the top of the hour, and I want y'all to begin to start these own conversations in your own groups of individuals, because we've got to learn how to bring healing to one another. And once again, what we, in my humble opinion, as Black and brown folks need to start doing is handling our issues privately and celebrating our victory publicly, because that's what other folk do. That's why, sadly, because we don't do that, sadly, we get labeled as the angry Black man or Black woman. And that's sad to me, because at the end of the day, I have something to say, and I may say it with a little fervor. I may say it with a little punctuality on it, but that doesn't mean I'm angry. I'm still highly educated. I'm still a very good man in heart, mind, spirit, and soul. But just because I confront you at a level that I give you literally the same energy you gave me, then all of a sudden we have a problem. See, there's a problem when we, like I say it all the time. It's cool when you do it.
It's a problem when I do it.
It's a problem when I do it.
But you know, I had a conversation recently about the art of debate, right? I love debate, by the way.
Right.
I love debate. Love it. To me, it's just mental sparring. It's not trying to hurt nobody, disrespect nobody, none of that. We just be on the topic, back and forth, rebuttal.
Right.
It could be a little, you know, a little energy to it, but at the end of it, we can shake hands, get something to eat together, get something to drink. Like, it don't mean I hate but the bow tie. We disagree on a particular topic. That's still matter of fact, you know what, Joe? I got a rule for myself. I only debate people I care about. If I don't care about you, I will not debate you.
Right.
I only debate people I care about and love.
Okay, so 5 minutes to the top of the hour. I want to end it with this. Begin to ask yourself, what can I do better? And start there. In my humble opinion, begin to ask yourself before you try to correct, fix, straighten out, make folks see whatever it is you feel like you want them to see. Ask yourself, what can I do toward me to make me a better person and better received by others? And begin to work on self. Like for a prime example, folk who know me, I've been working. I've recovered from this Achilles. I had a ruptured Achilles. I go every day and I work on my lower body because I'm trying to get back to running, jogging again. You got to work on self. You can't just sit around and say it's going to heal itself. It's not. You got to go back once everything is repaired and begin to work it out. See, if you put nothing in, you can't expect to get anything out. You can't sit around and eat all this junk food and say, I'm going to have a body like Adonis. There's only a few folks that can do that who have that type of fortitude and metabolism. Most folks, if you eat a bunch of junk, you're going to get big and fat and you're going to look like a bunch of junk that you've been eating. Brother Sean, 3 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to start with you. Give us some closing words. Tell us about the book. Tell us about what you got going on. Let's get up out of here. Let's go.
Well, my closing word is, man, talking about this topic, Malcolm X is the symbol of transformation. All of us know what he was. He was Detroit Red, doing what he was doing with prostitutes, by the way. With prostitutes. Right. And then became a beacon in that light of transformation, man. The ultimate butterfly effect, the metamorphosis, right? So we can all have power to transform ourselves wherever you are right now. It's not too late. You still got air in your lungs. You can change, man. So go out there today, start small, be a change, man.
Tell me about the Sean P experience, brother. I need to know what you got coming up, man.
The Sean P experience on YouTube on the 4th. I have the sister coming on the show talking about the book, Black Girls and How We Failed Them. Talking about the Black women portrayal in the media, society, movies, music, etc. How do we fail Black women?
That part, brother Bowtie, give it to me, man.
What it is and what it ain't and what we gonna do about it. Let's talk about it. Let's do something about it. Brother Bowtie here. Listen, today we had a very interesting conversation about prostitution. One of our greatest scholars, one of our greatest writers, Maya Angelou, was an ex-prostitute. And which brings me to the word that I have, the message that I have. A part of you had to die in order for the new you to live and thrive. So that's my word for the day. If you guys would support me, follow me at Brother Bowtie. Bowtie Untied or Brothers Bowties. Would support my business, go to www.brothersbowties.com.
That's my man, Bowtie. That's my man. All right, family. Listen, through all of this, understand the person you were yesterday may not be the person you are today. You got to let go of the past and learn from it. Turn that L, if it was a loss, into a lesson and move forward and be better today than you were yesterday. And do something today that if you come out of the dirt, the muck and the mire, you know how it feels to have nothing, to have nobody. Once you get out of that, go back and get somebody or show love to somebody and do it in a manner that you ask for nothing in return. Trust me, that will give you the best feeling you could ever have. Always remember that there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. On the behalf of Brother Bowtie, Brother Sean P and the Sean P Experience, my man Elijah Nixon with sports, along with our brother who is broken Berlin, Brother Jason doing his thing. He'll be back on this week also. Sister Alethea and Sister Jax. This is #Truth Be Told /JD Live. Y'all have a great Tuesday. So a lot of y'all, this is the first of the week because yesterday you were off. But for those of you who weren't off yesterday, second day of the week, nevertheless, make this a good week. We're going to keep it flowing. We're going to keep it going. We'll see you tomorrow for Work It Out Wednesday. Y'all have a blessed day. We out of here. Peace.